By denying them entrance into our partnership brings light to their human rights violations, but also becomes a silent protest and supports their people by shining light on this abuse on a global scale. By not being able to be partners in the largest global movement because they are violating their citizens' human rights, these governments must answer to their people why they won't have a chance of good middle-class jobs in a thriving, economically strong country, supported by other democratic countries. At some point, all people in every country will want equality and sustainability, and GGDI and 7Gens will be there when they meet the criteria for partnerships. GGDI and 7Gens will not compromise our morals because this decision will make some people uncomfortable. In order to make an equal and just world, we must ensure that we live by the very morals that we want our new world to be for our children. Achieving full gender equality is still centuries away, warns the UN in a new report. At the current rate of progress, the report estimates that it'll take up to 286 years to close the gap in legal protection and remove discriminatory laws, 140 years for women to be represented equally in positions of power and leadership in the workplace, and at least 40 years to achieve equal representation in national parliaments. To eradicate child marriage by 2030, progress must be 17 times faster than the progress of the last decade, with girls from the poorest rural households and in conflict-affected areas expected to suffer the most. The report also points out a worrisome reversal on the reduction in poverty, and the rising prices are likely to exacerbate this trend, and by the end of 2022, around 383 million women and girls will live in extreme poverty on less than $1.90 a day, compared to 368 million men and boys. Many more will have insufficient income to meet basic needs such as food, clothing, and adequate shelter in most parts of the world. If the current trend continues in sub-Saharan Africa, more women and girls will live in extreme poverty by 2030 than today. The invasion of Ukraine and the ongoing war there is further worsening food insecurity and hunger, especially among women and children, limiting supplies of wheat, fertilizer, and fuel, and propelling inflation. In 2021, about 38% of female-headed households in war-affected areas experienced moderate or severe food insecurity, compared to 20% of the male-headed household. Further facts and figures highlighted in the report include that in 2020, school and preschool closures required 672 billion hours of additional unpaid childcare globally. Assuming the gender divide in care work remained the same as before the pandemic, women would have shouldered 512 billion of those hours. Globally, women lost an estimated 800 billion US in income in 2020 due to the pandemic, and despite a rebound, their participation in labor markets is projected to be lower in 2022 than it was pre-pandemic, 58.8% compared to 51.8% in 2019. There are now more women and girls who are forcibly displaced than ever before. Some 44 million women and girls by the end of 2021. Today, over 1.2 billion women and girls of reproductive age 15 to 49, live in countries and areas with some restriction on access to safe abortions. Ahead of the Transforming Education Summit taking place on the margins of the UN General Assembly, the report points out that achieving universal girls' education, while not enough by itself, would improve such an outlook significantly. Each additional year of schooling can boost a girl's earning as an adult up to 20%, with further impacts on poverty reduction, better maternal health, lower child mortality, greater HIV prevention, and reduced violence against women. The report showcased that cooperation, partnerships, and investments in gender equality agenda, including through increased global and national funding, are essentials to correct the course and place gender equality back on track. What do I say? I say no way are we waiting 300 years for women and girls to have equal rights. Right now, the 1% would like to keep it status quo, where they control everything and the rest of us have to accept it. But it is 2024, and it is time for women and girls to have a seat at the table that will change our world and include us as well. It will require women in democratic countries to reach a hand out and help our repressed women and girls around the world so that they don't have to wait 300 years to experience what it is like to have autonomy and value. That if we invest in autocracies and dictatorships, we will strengthen their hold on their people, and by doing this, we are also supporting their human rights violation. GGDI and 7Gens are going to help the world become sustainable by doing it with like-minded countries. If we don't take this opportunity to build new infrastructure and change our system, we will miss the opportunities for us to become industry leaders and experts in our products and services. By not changing our system and the way we do things, we'll also make the world more dependent on China, while we should be changing our focus to a new, greener world.